Hello, everybody. Welcome back to day 2 of walking and talking. Back on a little hike. Had a pretty busy day writing. I posted a blog about manifesting for my daughter at some point after this is all done, to try to speak into existence that she gets to meet Taylor Swift. It's a pretty big manifestation, but yeah, I have big dreams usually, so we'll see how it goes. For those who haven't been keeping up, I also posted a custom painting that I did just for my daughter, called Wildest Dreams, and I made, over the course of the last year plus, like a few different custom paintings for people. That one clearly is the most important to me. Funny enough, I talked to her today and she asked me what my favorite painting was that I've done. And before I even had a chance to answer, she said, "Remember that one that you did for me?" I was like, "Of course I do." She's like, "That's my favorite one." So when all this stuff does finally come out, that I wasn't making it all up, and I've been fighting this battle for myself and the protection of my daughter. I know the Swifties are a pretty influential bunch that maybe some of them will come across the story and, oh yeah, Jason and Kylie Kelsey just happen to live across the street from my in-laws and know them. So it will be a story that hits close to home. Maybe another big softy of a dad will come across it and say, "Hey, isn't that the guy who lives across the street?" And then hopefully maybe somebody sends it to him, and Travis might get hold of the information and see what happens. But last night I talked on Facebook Live about basically what I kind of shifted gears that I'm gonna do. I'm doing this segment just to get out and just get moving a little bit, and probably just be talking about like random topics. And I know I say it every time, I would like to keep these things shorter, but I just get yapping, and next thing I know, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. So I'm aware of it. I'm trying to do my best with these. Ideally, I would like to try to keep these on the shorter side, and I'll just video them as I'm walking. And then at night, like last night, I talked about from the judge's perspective of my initial Baker Act, and I just questioned what the process was, what exactly was the reason that he was so quick to sign off on something that said absolutely nothing. So you look at it from either perspective of either the judge who takes a bribe, which easier to understand, or on the flip side, we really need to do a better job of having people in place that do a little bit more than just sign their name on something. Maybe like some follow-up questions and a little bit of research before uprooting somebody's life for, in my case, like, it was a catalyst that really negatively impacted the next year plus of my life and counting. So tonight I will jump back on live and talk. Just walked directly into a cobweb. Yeah, I'll go back live and go through another document of lies and pose some questions about what exactly are we doing here. It's one of those, everything's always plastered on the front page when you're first reporting on something. So dragging my name through the mud was front page worthy. But if I debunk stuff and it's proven that this stuff absolutely is not true, what then? How do I clear my name? How do I get exonerated? And today I talked about pattern recognition on here yesterday. Basically asking the question, not even asking the question, really just talking about a few different people that I saw very similar patterns begin to develop with. Like the starting of the own business, and at the very least it raises my suspicion. It at least makes me question and observe more their behavior moving forward. Like, it gives me, I guess, a reason to be more cautious around that person. So the idea is kind of like somebody who has backing and resources and funding to allow them to succeed. Hope I don't get myself lost back here. I have no idea where I am. Have all the things to allow you to succeed, the backing and money, and really a big part of it is like the time that it takes to build your own business, especially if you don't have help. Like, I can speak from experience. I've done it multiple times now. So, like, having the people who are good at certain things, have money, they can save you time. It's taken a lot of pressure off of somebody and sets them up much easier to be able to succeed in what they're trying to do. So I want to talk a little bit about industry plants. Something that I've heard a lot of people talk about, like somebody pops out of nowhere. And I talk about there is nothing no such thing as a overnight success. Like if I were to overnight just all of a sudden show up on the national scene, there was so much work that I put into leading up to it. Like, some people may view it as it was an overnight success, but I certainly wouldn't, knowing what I went through. But it's an interesting question, because I know the flip side of it, which is whatever the opposite of an industry plan is, would be what I currently would be considered. Somebody they don't want to talk. I'm not a self-proclaimed not big tech guy. I have mixed feelings about it. I find myself often just things that are supposed to save you time and everything, you just end up feeling like it's wasting your time, and I don't want to get frustrated with the stuff. So I was never a big social media guy before this or anything, but I recognize that there's a lot of irony in that, because it has been my only true hope to get my story out. But as we all know by now, I don't have anybody else helping me in any way. Certainly not with any content or optimization or anything like that. I'm sick of spending money that ends up like getting wasted because they mess with my finances and things. I know my devices have been compromised. The fake accounts, they're saved for months and months, and just all trying to steer me along the wrong path, and promising to, they act like they're aligned with what I'm doing and want to help, and just more fake scams and all that. But all I know is like the numbers that I do, it's just the people that I've been friends with on Facebook since I basically started. I actually blocked a lot of people. I haven't, I put it out into the public, but I have no idea how any of the algorithms work or if those hashtags mean anything. I'm not doing the hashtags to even draw an interest. It's more just like Operation Hope. That's what, it's a broad thing, and then I talk about a lot of stuff underneath that umbrella. But yeah, I mean, I see the views and stuff. I do it to try to get my story out there and get justice, but I don't necessarily do it for fame or for the numbers. But it does make you question, like, how do people who have no backing or resources or anybody helping them who knows about this stuff? I know that the people that are against me can negatively impact them. So if you put it that way, I guess, you hear about like Manchurian candidates and stuff, like an industry plant that's kind of no different than what I was talking about yesterday. they take the real business from the person who creates it, or like the original content creator and stuff, and then back the person that they can control. You see it in sports and things too, like certain GMs with like a big ego will hire a coach that may not be as experienced or innovative or something, but they can be controlled by that owner. So they would rather deal with the person that they know is not going to fight back and argue against them. They have ultimate say, you know? So if there is like a narcissist who is looking at me for a potential job, I go in for an interview, or they could love what I do. They could love my stuff. They could love my skill set, talent that I have. I don't know. Maybe I'm overly confident in what I do, but I think I'm pretty creative. I think I'm pretty smart. I think I have a lot of experience. I think I am a valuable asset to just about anything that I would join. But time and time again, seems like people really want to like not let me operate or do what I do good. Don't let me just be myself and do things the way I know how. So in like this case where they steal my ideas and give them to somebody else and start a business and make money off of my things, my creations, you look at it and it's just like, on one hand, it is, weirdly enough, somewhat of a compliment that you value my stuff. There is, at the very least, an acknowledgement. You can't argue that fact. If you're copying my original ideas, you must have thought they're pretty good. But on like the other hand, it's just like, it is just a reflection of those people, not me, that like I'm willing to listen to other people's ideas, and I have no problem if somebody has a better idea on something to go that route and let somebody take the lead. Like, the problem I've always had was so many cases there just wasn't much doubt in my mind that I saw, like I had a vision. I saw exactly what I could do with something if I was given free rein. So unfortunately, that hasn't happened often, where I've just been allowed to go off and do things exactly how I want to do them. People like to, one, that insert themselves into it, and then two, obviously take credit and minimize my contribution. But yeah, I mean, going back to industry plants, I guess now that I think about them, yeah, I think it's absolutely a thing that is probably more common than at least I realized. Like, maybe because I wasn't living in the social media world where I was exposed to all of like the influencers until recently. I was thinking more along the lines of just traditional journalism and your Fox News and CNNs and politicians and what they say and how they contradict themselves and all that stuff. How there's just no reliable sources when it all comes down to it. But yeah, obviously now that I'm more exposed to it, like, it is a dangerous thing to have favorite influencers and you have no idea who's actually backing them. There's the sponsored ads and stuff that might make it obvious. But I think the very concept of the industry plant is a little bit more sinister as far as like just creating this fictional character to basically be a puppet and say anything you tell them to do. And if there's somebody who lacks innovation or imagination or creativity or talent, and you're giving them an audience and a career and fame or exposure, they get to travel and they get nice things. Basically, the one rule that probably comes with it, you don't question what they want you to talk about. Otherwise, they just can do it again with somebody else. You have no real value in the long run because you're always easily replaceable. Whereas somebody like me, who's going to replace me, I'm not saying that arrogantly. I'm saying like I'm the one that makes the decisions for what I talk about and what I post. I'm not, there's nobody that gets to tell me what I can and can't say, and there's a certain freedom to that if you're actually watching and a fan of mine, you know I don't have any agenda or reason to like mince my words. I just talk pretty much open and honestly about anything that I choose to. It's the same problem I have in politics. Like the idea of identifying yourself as left or right, when there's, and like voting on the company lines and stuff, or the party lines. This stuff's so nuanced when you get into it, like, but you're not free to always truly be able to form your own opinion and express your own beliefs when it comes to certain topics, because it could be against the rest of the party. And if you are trying to advance, it becomes a numbers game, like I talked about with like how people make decisions. At a certain point, you're just doing math and risk reward and probability of like which stance do I take on this to get the most people to support me. And at that point, you cease being an authentic individual. I mean, let's be honest. Anytime you let that formula be part of your equation, decision making, it opens it up to the idea that your opinion can be bought or controlled or yeah, I mean, it's like the conviction you have for the things you say. At least this is just my opinion. Remember, guys, don't get all worked up about it. But yeah, I just find it to be, it's a whole different thing if you have an opinion because you're uninformed and you do research and listen to certain people and something that they say resonates with you, and you are open-minded enough to evolve and change and see things from a different perspective and form a different opinion. That's healthy. You should be always going into this stuff with an open mind. But if you're being completely honest with yourself when you're doing this stuff, and I would like to think, like, when you hear politicians basically one day talk about one thing and then you hear them again and their stance is completely different just because now for the people surrounding them and the agenda that they have, they're forced to change it. To me, that's just like, can you really even believe that they had any strong opinion on the matter? Or is it just, how do I keep advancing my own career? Yeah, I don't know if there's like a huge, overwhelming point to this. I guess it's the fact that, yeah, it's an uphill battle when you're in a new industry. And really, I'm using social media because I have a cause that I'm fighting for and trying to get people to see it. But I have very little knowledge, and for me, I enjoy creating the content portion of it and talking and doing the art and writing. Once I get into spending time trying to upload the same video on Facebook 4 times and it won't, like, at this point when I shoot these types of videos, I might as well just link the YouTube. If somebody's going to watch it, they're going to click on the link and watch it on YouTube. If not, they're not going to watch it, I guess. Like, I don't want to spend, I don't even know, like, if I'm doing something necessarily wrong, because sometimes it loads, sometimes it doesn't. It takes forever, and then it says it uploads, and then it doesn't show up. So I'm waiting for it, and I'll look at my phone 2 hours later, thinking, like, it must be up there now, right? And it just isn't up there. So then do I stop what I'm doing and try to upload it again for the same thing to happen? That was the story of my life before with, like, everything. I was trying to get rid of that in my life, like, get away from those constant, like, checking of my phone or being distracted trying to do something that, for whatever reason, seemingly is difficult. Like, I haven't found an easy way to do it that ensures that it's going to load. YouTube's fine. I get loaded right on YouTube. It takes a few minutes and it goes up every time. No problem. I mean, I guess that is what that platform is designed for and made for. But I mean, Facebook's a billion-dollar company that people post stuff on all the time. When it comes to this, like, you would think there would be an easier way to do it. Or the flip side is maybe there is somebody with some computer knowledge and ways to hack into my account or whatever to make it so it's doing the very thing, which is creating a little bit of frustration for me. I don't know for sure, but yeah, so as far as industry plants, like, you imagine if you have people who all you have to worry about is like just doing your thing, and they'll help you out with the rest. They'll optimize your views and have you have an audience and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a huge thing for somebody. So I see the appeal for people that are trying to make it. Unfortunately for myself, I just can't sell out to those types of people. I just not going to allow myself to be dictated or influenced on what I do and don't talk about or what I post. Like, nobody's going to hold over my head that they're going to somehow hold something against me or like make my life difficult in some way. I've been there, done that. It's what got me into this mess. Is I naively thought that my opinion would actually matter at some point in my marriage, in my relationship with my ex-wife, my in-laws. Where the minute I said no and rejected them, the minute I took a hard stand on something, basically saying, like, we're gonna burn everything about your life down to the ground. Then in my article, I talked about putting my head on a pike on the castle wall, like Joffrey did to Ned Stark, and made Sansa look at it. It's kind of the message that they wanted to send to people, I think, in my situation. If you want to play games, your head's going to be up there too. But last time I checked, you still have a head, so I'm still playing the game. But I'm actually going to end it here. Much better, much shorter, more precise. So yeah, I'm going to try to do this and then Facebook Lives at night with the other content, and just keep moving forward. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you all.